Tonight, when you turn off the light, you will become one of the most defenseless creatures on the planet. No claws, no fangs, no fur to hide your scent, just a soft, slow-breathing body lying flat, eyes closed, for 7 or 8 hours straight. And yet, nothing comes for you. No predator slips through your window, no wild animal waits outside your door. You sleep in total surrender every single night of your life. But here is the strange part. Your ancestors did the same thing, in the open, surrounded by lions and wolves and bears for millions of years. They should not have survived it, so why did they? The easy answer is walls, locks, cities. But that answer falls apart the moment you look at the people who still sleep the way humans slept for most of history. The Hadza of Tanzania, the San of the Kalahari, communities with no walls, no locks, sleeping on the open ground in lion country night after night, generation after generation. They are rarely attacked, not because predators cannot reach them, because something deeper is keeping them safe, something written into human behavior so long ago that you still do it without thinking. What is it?
Start with the fire. Anthropologist Carol Worthman, who has spent decades studying sleep across cultures, found something researchers had almost completely ignored. For most of human history, sleep was never a solitary act. It was a group event, built around a flickering source of light and heat. Worthman once pointed out that scientific knowledge of how sleep evolved outside of clinical labs and modern bedrooms was essentially non-existent. Nobody had bothered to ask what sleep looked like in the environment it actually evolved in. A 2017 study led by sleep researcher David Sampson tracked the Hadza and found that fire was burning on 2 out of every 3 nights they slept. Not for warmth alone. Fire was a signal, a boundary, a line drawn in the dark that most predators learned not to cross. Consider what fire actually does to a predator's calculation. A lion hunting at night relies on darkness, on the cover it provides, on the element of surprise. Fire strips all of that away. It throws light into the exact radius where an ambush would normally happen. It exposes silhouettes, eyes, movement. For a predator built around stealth, a campfire does not just warn, it disables the entire hunting strategy. That is a cost most animals are simply not willing to pay for an uncertain meal.
Think about why that works. A lion does not reason the way you do, but it learns. It remembers pain. It remembers danger. And for as long as lions and humans have shared territory, fire has meant exactly one thing to them: stay away. Generation after generation of big cats absorbed that lesson and passed the wariness down. Fire became a kind of inherited fear, burned into the instincts of animals that never personally touched a flame. But fire alone does not explain everything, because even where there was no fire, attacks were still rare. So researchers looked closer, and they found a second pattern: numbers. Humans almost never slept alone. In a typical hunter-gatherer camp, a dozen or more bodies lay close together, breathing, shifting, occasionally waking. Justin Sirachi, an ecologist who studies how predators respond to human presence, ran an experiment in the Santa Cruz Mountains of California. His team played recordings of ordinary human conversation through hidden speakers in the wilderness. Nothing aggressive, just people talking, reciting poetry, reading passages aloud. The result was immediate. Mountain lions, bobcats, and other predators fled the area almost every time they heard a human voice, even one coming from a speaker with no body attached to it.
Sirachi's broader research points to something that runs deeper than simple noise aversion. Across the regions where large predators still survive, decades of being hunted, trapped, and pushed back by humans have left a kind of inherited caution behind. Animals that learned to fear the sound and scent of people were the ones who lived long enough to reproduce. The ones that did not learn that lesson rarely got a second chance. Fear of humans, in other words, was not just instinct. It was also shaped, generation after generation, by exactly which predators survived contact with us at all. That tells you something important. Predators are not just afraid of human strength, they are afraid of human presence itself. The sound of a group, the smell of a group, the simple fact that humans rarely show up as one. And a sleeping group is still, in a sense, present. Someone stirs, someone coughs, someone gets up to check the fire. To a predator deciding whether tonight is worth the risk, that flicker of unpredictable movement matters more than you would think.
Now, here is the part that should genuinely surprise you. Your own sleep has not fully let go of this ancient arrangement. Researchers studying modern sleep architecture have found that humans rarely enter deep sleep all at once, the way many other mammals do. Instead, your brain cycles through lighter and deeper stages throughout the night, surfacing again and again, sometimes without you ever remembering it. You drift down toward deep sleep, then rise back up toward something lighter, then sink again, 4 or 5 times before morning. Some researchers have proposed this rhythm as a remnant of a world where total unconsciousness was a luxury nobody could afford. A world where someone, somewhere in the group, needed to be just alert enough to notice if something was wrong. This idea has a name among sleep scientists who study it cross-culturally: the Sentinel hypothesis. The proposal is simple. If everyone in a sleeping group cycled through light and deep sleep at slightly different times, at any given moment, someone was likely to be in a lighter stage, closer to waking, more able to react to a strange sound or a shift in the air. No single person had to stay awake on purpose. The staggering happened naturally, just from ordinary variation between individuals, and the group ended up protected almost by accident.
There is also the matter of where humans chose to sleep at all. Anthropologists studying traditional sleeping sites have noted a consistent pattern across very different environments and cultures. Raised platforms, narrow shelters, backs against rock walls, bodies clustered toward the center of a group rather than the edges. None of this was random. It was risk management, performed instinctively without anyone needing to explain why. The most exposed position was the most dangerous position, and over enough generations, the humans who chose it less often were the ones who survived to pass that instinct forward. Of course, the system was never perfect. Attacks did happen, and they still happen today in the rare places where humans and large predators share close quarters. Researchers who study these incidents have found a pattern worth noting. Most recorded predator attacks on sleeping humans involve someone alone, away from fire, away from the group, often in unfamiliar territory. The very conditions that ancient humans avoided by instinct are the same conditions that still correlate with risk now. The rule was never that predators cannot reach you. The rule was that predators rarely choose to when the cost of trying looks too high.
So picture it. Not a single vulnerable human lying alone in the grass, but a circle, fire at the center, bodies layered inward, each one partially shielded by the others, sound rising and falling through the night, voices, embers cracking, someone shifting in their sleep. From the outside, in the dark, this circle does not look like easy prey. It looks like something to avoid, unpredictable, alert in patches, defended by 100 small signals a predator has learned over thousands of years to respect. This is the part that gets left out of most explanations. It was never about any single human being strong. It was about humans being together. A lone person sleeping in the open is genuinely vulnerable, and historically, lone sleepers were disproportionately the ones predators targeted. But a group, with fire, with noise, with constant tiny movements breaking up the stillness, became something else entirely. A pattern too costly for most predators to test more than once. Strength was never the variable that mattered. Predictability was. And humans, as a sleeping group, were almost never predictable.
You inherited a body built for a world without locks, a nervous system calibrated to predators that no longer hunt you in places that may not even exist anymore. And yet, every night, that same nervous system still performs its old routine, checking the perimeter, listening for the wrong kind of silence, settling only when it senses the markers of safety its ancestors relied on: fire, company, sound, the presence of others nearby. The animals are mostly gone now, at least for most people reading this. The lions do not wait outside your door, but the architecture of your sleep was not designed for an empty room. It was designed for a circle around a fire, and some nights your body still seems to remember that. So tonight, when you turn off the light, you are not really alone in the way it feels. You are running a survival strategy that kept an entire species alive for millions of years, one quiet signal of safety at a time, even if the only fire left is the one glowing on the screen beside your bed.
And this is where the story turns back toward you. You probably do not sleep next to a fire. You probably do not sleep in a circle of a dozen relatives. But watch what you actually do at night, almost without thinking about it. You lock the door. You leave a light on down the hall. You sleep better with a partner beside you than completely alone in an unfamiliar place. You feel uneasy in total silence and oddly safer with the low hum of a fan, a television, anything that fills the quiet. None of this is random preference. It is an ancient circuit, still running, still asking the same question it has asked for hundreds of thousands of years. Is someone watching the dark with me? Notice it the next time you stay somewhere unfamiliar. A hotel room, a friend's spare bedroom, a tent on a camping trip. The first night is always the hardest to sleep through. Researchers call this the first night effect, and they have measured it directly in sleep labs, watching one half of the brain stay measurably more alert than the other during a person's first night in a new environment, almost as if part of you is still standing watch. By the second or third night, that asymmetry fades and sleep deepens, as if some old internal checklist has finally confirmed that the new place is safe enough to fully let go.